week of this challenge. If you haven't been to any of these, it's okay. Can you change the timer, please? But I want you to know something. I'm literally in my leggings. I got my running shoes on, and I'm like ready to move. You guys know what moving week looks like? My life, my closet is like empty. You know what I mean? Like my closet is empty. I've been crying all week because people have been stopping by and saying hello to me, and I just feel so special to be able to say, I love you guys who are good friends out there. Who out there is a good friend? Go in the chat and put an F. If you know you're a good friend, go in the chat and put an F. It's been so incredible. There's nothing like a good friend. I swear to you, there's just nothing like a good friend. So, okay, so we are going to jump in today, and I want you to write down the word urgency. I want you to write down the word urgency. I want to show you, my promise this week was showing you how to take action in a way that you can depend on yourself and other people can depend on you. But let's be honest, who's tired of being disappointed with their weeks? Put a D in the chat. Who's tired of being disappointed with your weeks? And the reason why I ask you to do this when I say put a D in the chat is because if I got somebody, this is all about leadership, right? If I say something and I don't see the chat light up, then I'm not going to keep pushing on that point. How many of you guys have been in a conversation with somebody, you're like, you are literally like beating a dead horse. It's like, get off the point. Like, I got you. I understand. Anybody experience that in your life? Right? It's horrible. It's so horrible, but it's also horrible when you're the person doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? Where you're like, you can't get off of it because somehow you don't feel like you landed your communication. That's where we taught style flexing. When did we teach style flexing? The first week? It's like the first week, like 2 weeks ago. Day two. You're so good. Day two, we taught style flexing. So if you need to learn how to land your communication, I'm going to recommend that you go back and you look on our pages on YouTube, on our Hardcore Business Facebook page, in the Coach Yourself to Success Facebook group, and go look up my name and go look up Rising Tide Challenge Day 2. And I would study that like crazy. I have a private client, excuse me, a private client this morning that was asking about she wanted that training. Right? And so it's a really good training. You need to learn how to land your communication. But for the sake of today, we are going to talk about urgency. And so, true story, when I look at the year, I chunk the year. And hopefully this is supportive to you because I don't want anybody missing the mark anymore. Thank you. Every time you miss the mark and you don't hit your target, then what happens is people around you stop supporting. Do you guys get that, right? People around you stop supporting because you become unreliable. It's not that you are unreliable. It just means that your reputation is starting to cause a breakdown in relationships around you. And a breakdown in relationships, I hate to tell you this, it will completely stall out your life. Okay, so if you're in a situation where you don't have good friends around you, you can build it. So I highly recommend, one of the things that I did was I'm obsessed with business. So I'm obsessed with business. And so I literally had a friend list of like 4 or 5 different, it was women at the time. Because ladies, there ain't enough women at the top. You agree with me? Yes? There just isn't. And by the way, it's not because there's not a lot of great, powerful women. It's because along the way, we forgot how to lead, like authentically how to lead. Right? And so what happens is we don't know how to ask for the sale. We don't know how to, and I'm being really honest. I mean, I'm strong, and it takes everything in me, it's a lot of energy to be able to stand strong all the time. Do you guys know I know some of you strong women know what I'm talking about. Right? And there's not a lot of people, if you're a strong woman, there's not a lot of people for you to lean on because you are so capable that people forget that you need a hug. Am I right? Yes or no? Am I right? They do. And if you got daughters, parents, if you got daughters that are strong, I'm telling you, it's one of the biggest things that you have to try and not miss because we're not talking about the hug like I love you hug. It's the hug like you're holding a lot. And let me just tell you that it's okay to cry on my shoulder. It's okay to just let's loosen up the intensity for a minute and just give you a break, your nervous system a break. And so a powerful woman is never going to stop being powerful, but she can break down in her emotions, right? She can become a B letter You know what I'm talking about, right? She can become a B letter because she needs a hug. Get what I'm saying? Yes? Empathy is everything. Okay, so we take our year-long goals, and here's how we break these down. There are 5. How many? 5. There are 5 targets for the year. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I do in business, but you can 100% put personal stuff in here. Okay, so you can totally, don't be the type of person that you can't think out of the box, because if you can't think out of the box, I hope you joined the leadership program, right? Because that's the whole point of leadership. Every time your life breaks, how you innovate, write this down, don't miss this, don't multitask, because you need to hear this. Every time your life breaks down, every time somebody, disappoints you, every time something doesn't come together, it's very rare, and I listen to how much this is true. It is very rare that I set the course or you set the course, that marriage, that business, that career, that friendship, that move, whatever. It's very rare that you set the course for a target and it just goes, right? Am I right? It just doesn't happen. It's very rare. And when it does happen, you just think, the world is the cat's meow. Please do not let me wake up from this moment. It's incredible, right? But it doesn't happen that way very often. It's very, very rare, maybe once or twice in your life, really. The rest is just a shit show. And so how you walk through that is leadership, okay? And so, but forget about the leadership part. How you walk through that is your legacy. For my entrepreneurs, how you walk through that is your uniqueness. The reason why people buy from you is because you can get up off the living room floor and go, okay, success is not a popularity contest. I'm going to remind myself of that. I'm going to screw up and I'm going to upset people, and I'm still going to go for it. Even though I feel like shit right now, or even though I feel like people don't like me right now, even though people don't believe in me right now, even though I just led that, and like the number one thing we coach for entrepreneurs that are working with virtual assistants is they treat them like shit. And it's not because they are constantly doing it or consciously doing it. It's because they are so driven trying to hit it. It's taking everything in them to fund the business, to come up with the idea, to raise the kids, to be a husband, to, you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot. There's just a lot that goes into, running a career or running a business and running a life at the same time. And so the virtual assistant gets hammered. Do you see what I'm saying? And so just remember how you walk through that. I'm not saying you're never going to hammer somebody, but what I am saying is that keep learning from it, because it's the innovation that makes you unique and why people buy. So here's my year, and it might look something like this. I'm going to do it in business, and I'll kind of give you some ideas on personal. I might say list. If you are an entrepreneur and you don't have an email or a text message list, you are playing a very risky game. Very risky. And I'm not talking about 20 people or 100 people. I'm talking about 10,000 people or more. If you have 10,000 people or more on your email list, go in the chat and put a 10. If you don't have any, put a 0. I want to see you. If you are a business owner, how many people are on your email list? 0, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. Where are you? 500, 200, 100. Okay, so you're broke with love. Okay, like that scares the shit out of me. The only thing that would make me stay up for 3 days straight without any food would not be having an email list. What am I talking about? Urgency. If you believed me, which I'm telling you the truth, if you believed me and I told you that your email and text message list is way more important than your YouTube, your Instagram, all of that, all put together, because none of that you own, you rent all of it, you could be kicked off like that. Many of my friends have been kicked off this year that had huge accounts and had to start brand new accounts. They're like, Shanda, thank God I listened to you, because their business didn't get shrunk, which also means their kids got fed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be responsible here. Okay, so I might say list building, and I'll put a number. No target means no business. So I might say, okay, I want to grow my list to 10,000 people. Then I might say I want to build a sales team. Okay, so I'm going to tell you who's on that sales team matters, but sales team. I'm going to put a target. No target means no business. Say 5 people. And if you're just starting a business, 2 people. Within the first year of you growing a business, if you focus on the lead gen and you get 2 people on your sales team, you've now grown smarter. Because what are you going to do? Well, most of you guys will keep showing up for people, and you're going to show up for people quicker than you're ever going to show up for yourself. My fastest growing entrepreneurs build sales teams right away. Why? Because they realize their procrastination, perfectionism goes out the window. Why? Their vision has gotten bigger. They have to, all they have to do, if you want something to grow, track it. They just have to track how many leads have they given the sales team. So now they're like, I'm not thinking about selling anymore. I'm just thinking about putting leads on, which means I'm just focusing about list building. Do you see like this idea, this lie, this deception, I'm going to call it the devil in your head that says you're not ready? God doesn't ever tell you you're not ready. Okay. So that right there, if you're having that, is called deception. Okay. So now this, if you're not an entrepreneur, fill in different, like kind of write this on a piece of paper right now, fill in different targets with me, like do it with me. Okay. Don't just sit there and stare at me on the screen. Do it with me, because I'm telling you, the reason why I do our List Power group, you guys who jumped into HCL, who are you? Put HCL in the chat. There's hundreds and hundreds of you. Go HCL in the chat. Everybody give them a high five as they're doing that. You guys get the list building training. Whether you are an entrepreneur or not, I want you at that training. Okay, and just FYI, I just realized that the Hardcore Leadership training is the same dates as the List Power, so we're changing the dates. Okay, so just FYI, I didn't know that. I didn't run the calendar. And so it was just an oversight on our side, and we're going to fix that now. So we're looking at July 6th, 7th, and 8th. We'll confirm that through email and text message over the next couple of days, okay? So even if you're an employee, I say this to our team. I want you to know how to do this. Because even if you never sell anything, if you need to, any coach out there, like any of the decent coaches, you don't even have to get a high level coach. Any of the good coaches that are decent can actually help you make money. You can be completely confused, but if we don't have that list and we go into a depression or whatever that looks like, now I'm scared for you. Okay, so whether you're my mother or you're my entrepreneur, I want you to have a list. Okay, period. And so this I'm going to say is on everybody's list, no matter if you're a business owner or not. I want everybody to focus on doing that. Somehow get outside the box. Then sales team, then I might say, like one of mine was a world-class, team at Hardcore Business. But at other times it was, it could have been a big zone event, a 3-day event. It could be, I could put a bucket that says I want to have, $100,000 in the bank savings. These are 5 major things that you say are important. So stop outsourcing your thinking. You already know it's important. The things that are important to you are the things that give you power. They make you feel competent. Okay, so your soul is chasing competency. I know you think it's confidence, but it is not. I have more confidence when I have more money in the bank, period. I just do. Why? I feel safer. So if I feel safer, I feel like I can come up and be a baller, right? So it's really easy. These people who are financially figured out how to make money, which by the way is just a list in a sales team, and then really reoccurring. So I might say I want something that has a reoccurring offer. And I might say that I want to figure out a cash injection for the company. These are all things we teach in our Mentor Me Live program, right? It's like, because this is important. This is how I run my business. I might say, I want to learn how to get a cash injection. That cash injection, I would like to see 20,000 come in from that, or 200,000. I have a client that did leadership, which the leadership offer is closed now, right? But I have a client that did leadership. She actually was just messaging another client that was debating jumping into leadership. And she goes, I did leadership. And it's funny because the only reason why I don't say this is because people are like, oh, it's a business program. I'm not like, no, it's not. It's a leadership program. And leadership is your ass touching everything in your life, right? And so she she was doing $250,000 a year in her book, her like showing people how to become authors. And just in the leadership program alone, she doubled her business to 500,000. So, and by the way, she didn't get in at the $2,200 price point. She paid full price for the training. And she's like, I would have paid you $20,000 for that training to make $250,000 more a year. Do you you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. This is why broke people get more broke, because they consult their bank account versus consult their vision. And you got to stop that. Whether you jumped into leadership or not is not relevant anymore. What's relevant is to think like this. You guys hear me? Yes? You got to think like this. You got to look at, what am I gaining so that I can get the ambition to problem solve, to innovate. Remember what I said, everything breaks between you and these goals. How you problem solve it is leadership. It's your legacy. It's your uniqueness. So we got to stop wearing badges of honor that say I'm stuck, because those badges of honor just kill your life. Just even speaking that, you gotta be like, I know there's a way. I know there's a way. If somebody, when I had a bad back and I was like 90-degree angle, no kidding, I dropped my son on the bed when I had him. I couldn't hold him because my back was so weak that I dropped him on the bed and I was bawling my eyes. I was just so discouraged. But even in the depths of my bawling, I kept saying, I know there's somebody, I know there's a doctor who can fix me. I know there's a doctor who can fix me. I know there's a doctor who can fix me. Sure enough, my friend Joe Polish, another $100,000 a year mastermind that I belong to, that I get no coaching, but I get, what do I get? I get to be at the table with smart people. And it's moments like this where you start to think like this, that everything changes. But you have to have enough faith to say, you know what, even though nothing's worked in the past, whatever's true, I'm just gonna try this, and I'm gonna expect that the whole fucking thing's gonna break. Excuse my language, but I just want to get through some barriers, okay? Like, there's nothing freaking wrong with you. It's gonna break for you, and it's gonna break for me. It's going to break. And I don't know why somehow we expect our children to fall when they're trying to walk, but we don't think we're gonna fall when we put up the plan. And so now I just don't feel, I'm just not connected to this anymore. Some of you guys need to hear. So I think I need to do something else. Do you know what my rule is? Talk to me when you hit it. If you take 2 years to hit this, then take 2 years to hit it. Like, I don't recommend that. But like, my point is be relentless. Don't get off of it until you hit it. And then tell me you want to quit. Because I don't trust your emotions until you hit it, right? So now I go throughout the year, here's my year goals, and underneath each of these 5 targets, which I have said make me feel more competency. I feel safer, whatever word you want to put on it. It's competency that you're going after. That's what you're chasing. Okay, so this is why although this is the strategy I do in business, before I would ever give you a strategy, I would want you to just show me what you're thinking. Why? Because I need to know why you've chosen these things. And I might change some of these bullets for you if I was your business coach, like if you were meant to be live, I might change some of these. But even if I didn't, if you ran your life off these 5 indicators, you will have a better life no matter what. You guys hear what you just will. So now what happens in my calendar, my focus time, for some of you guys who've been actually on these trainings, is my focus time is consulted here. Now, I don't typically tackle all of these at the same time. So great example, you guys who jumped into Hardcore Leadership, right? The offers close. I don't know if they've turned the page over yet, but if they haven't, it's happening today, right? My point is that like this, so I'm gonna take world-class HCB and I'm gonna put Hardcore Leadership. I have a year-long goal, which would be one of these KPIs, which is just key indicators, right? I have a number of how many people I'm committed to enrolling in that program. You hear what I'm saying? So I just hit that by the summer. That's why you guys got a deal. Like, you guys who jumped in got a huge deal. You know, you got a huge deal. It was an incredible opportunity that you got in at that price point, and I financed for some of you guys. Okay, and so you should feel really good about that. But my point is the reason, like when I strategize this, I go, everybody wants to know the how. And by the way, my clients right now, guess what I'm teaching them? Exactly what I just did with you. Why was I willing to dump the training? Because I have a KPI that I'm going to hit. And this is connected to vision. This was not connected to money as much as vision, because the truth is that we didn't make a bunch of money of selling the training for 2,200. I make good money if I sell you the training at 5,000. I make decent money if I sell you the training at like 4,000, 3,700. I don't make good money. I make, for most of you, I made zero money off your enrollment. It covered the cost of the ad spend that got you connected. Why would I do that? Well, I'm going to tell you something. My best business clients are the ones who have done HCL. You know why? They don't not pay their bills. They don't settle for average. And they have the skill set when something breaks. They have the skill set to say, hey, coach, whether it's me or a Mentor Me Live coach, hey, coach, I know I'm responsible for this. I want to hit this target. They stop operating off feelings. They start to operate off commitment. And so what do you think happens? I'm not carrying them anymore. I can come in and go boop, 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 and they just go. So some of the people in our core leadership will become business clients. They will become long-term clients. And then some of them I got paid, right? Some of them I got some profit. But most of you that jumped in, you got a killer deal because I had a vision. And the vision was to take my year-long goal and hit it by the summer. And so now my vision has moved to another bucket. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So generosity is the key to hitting any success in relationship, in business, in anything. And the number one thing that I'll see an analyzer do is miss the relationship X factor. Remember how I was sharing with you guys at the table? There's an X factor. Here's what I'm selling, or here's what I'm investing into a relationship. There's an X factor that always shows up 100% of the time when you are a generous, powerful leader. And you'll start to learn the X factor because it shows up every time. I call it the Godspeed, right? It's just like something else comes in 100% of the time that amplifies. So sometimes I'll have like, so my husband's an analyzer, right? And I remember building sales out and sales numbers with him. He's like, a salesperson can do 200 and something $1,000 a year with hardcore. And I'm like, no, a salesperson could do $500,000 a year. Here's how. And there was a compounding effect that he wasn't looking at. That's the X factor. How many guys would love to be a salesperson at hardcore business, right? It's like, it's good, it's great, but you got to be relentless on what it is that you're going after, because this is about transforming your life, but it's also about transforming other people's lives. And that's where the leadership that comes in on these goals, even though these goals give you more competency, right? They give you the competency you're looking at. That like, it's not confidence, it's competency. Confidence comes when you know you can do it immediately. For some of you guys, confidence comes when you have a full bank account. For some of you guys, confidence can be built. You don't need to read a book on it. It's all about keeping your word 100% of the time, right? So even though this builds your competency, the leader that comes in on this, if your heart is really clean, that generosity, there's a whole X factor that grows. So the reason why people say the how doesn't matter is because the how is just about commitment. And if you guys started this challenge with me, I said the biggest problem we have on this planet right now is commitment. People say they want X, but they don't want to do Z. I want X, but I won't touch my 401k. Kim, it's funny, we were talking about her, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Kim Kiyosaki just did an interview where she talked about 401ks. And she talked about when 401ks got brought in, which was on the heels of a recession. And it was because people stopped investing in the stock market. And 401ks, just so you know, go check the interest rate. You're losing money. You're locking up money to lose money. But you've all been taught, or we've all been taught, to not question the system. So I'm not being a conspiracist. Just go do the freaking, just go pull your 401k and find out your interest rate, and then go pull inflation and do the negative. And just ask yourself, how smart am I being by not questioning these things? When I was in my early 20s and I was starting to really learn about money, I kept saying, I don't want the financial advisor. I knew I needed one, right? But I don't want the financial advisor that drives a Honda. No offense if you drive a Honda. My vision was not to drive a Honda, right? My vision was to drive a BMW, right? And my vision was to have an oceanfront home. My vision was to have a family. That was about the extent of my vision, right? And so I was like, I need the guy that would have the oceanfront home. I need the guy that would have the BMW or Mercedes. Like, that's who I needed to get poured into as an advisor. So every advisor I met, every time they either drive up to my house or I'd go meet them and I'd see their car, I would be like, there's the Honda. I'm not taking advice from this person. And you know what they all told me? Get a 401k, get married, and have kids. And I'm not kidding you. If you go back and search videos, I'm sure you're going to find them in my 30s or late 20s where I kept saying, I don't want to get married yet. I don't want to buy a house yet. Like, I was like, I don't want to. Like, stop not listening to what's important to me for my confidence. And they were trying to sell me something that intuitively I was like, I know that I'm not looking for the average life because that's middle class. And I'm really excited that that wasn't my target, because middle class is getting squeezed out. If you're going to gas up your car, and I know many of you guys might be electric now, but if you go to gas up your car and that is painful, you don't make enough money. I can honestly tell you, I don't actually know how much gas is a gallon. And my analyzers are like dumb blonde, right? Like, it's so, because they know everything. My husband, I'm sure if I ask my husband how much gas is, he knows, right? Because he's smarter than me. I don't retain that information. Why? It doesn't matter to me. It's not even on my radar. So I'm a builder. He's an expander. So I'm not even looking. If that was impacting this, then I would know it. And guess what I'd be focused on? My cash injection would be a major thing I would be focusing on first, right? Well, I'd be focusing on the list first, because the list is I can go get my cash injection in 45, 60, or 90 days, right? So I could either live the rest of my life. I know everybody wants things faster, but I could live the next year in scarcity, or I could build the list in 45, 60, or 90 days. I can get my cash injection. Do you see it? Now I'm not letting that pump price affect me. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So this is why it's really a bad move to watch people on Instagram and say, I want that wife or I want that husband, because you don't know the fight they were getting in when they cut that Instagram picture. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and you guys who are in business and entrepreneurship, you're like, oh my God, somebody launched that book, and like Mel Robbins launched that book, and like, now look at all I should read my book online like she did, and that's why she was successful. No, that's what my friend Pete Vargas called a road. The road, just because you build a podcast, which is a road, just because you build these things, you need the list. And that's what he was talking about. You need the traffic, you need the audience. Start listening to what people are saying, and they're saying the same thing. Grant Cardone, I would have to have a great relationship with him for him to email his list. Why? It's his freaking bank account. It's his bank account. It's everybody's bank account. This is why I've bridged the gap now, where I've said all year, if you are not an entrepreneur, still build a list. Still build a list. Send them recipes every week. Send them motivational quotes. I don't care. Keep the relationship going. I can show you how to build a list very, very easily. I can show a 12-year-old how to build a list. It's just, will you get off your ass, or are you going to wait until none of this is possible and it's too late? See, I started this with the conversation of urgency. I don't try and hit all these goals in 12 months. I try and hit as many of these goals in 6 months. Why? because whatever mistake happened, I've got 6 months to close it. Sure enough, there's going to be a goal that is going to be the last 6 months of the year that becomes my focus. I've trained my brain that every 1 year goal can happen in 6 months. So guess what? I live on a runway. I live on a runway. I literally live my entire life on a runway. I'm not worried about failing because I know I'm going to fail. But the reason why you would want me as your coach is because I can get up from the failure and turn it around. And that's why when you give me a problem, I can solve it. But it's not because I'm smart. It really is not. It's because my brain has been trained to find out there's a great opportunity right now that, like, here's what I say in my company. I say, and this is not motivational talk. I'm like, when we figure this out, we're going to be able to teach this to more people. And I know that's what makes us relevant. What makes us relevant is not having more useless content to just have content. What makes us relevant is taking proven, tested content and funneling it down your throat until you believe it over and over and over again, and teaching it. Like, it's like if I taught relationships and how to communicate, like style flexing, I could train style flexing for an entire year and come in different ways to get you to have that relationship work. And you might not hear me for 5 months, and then you actually, something in my leadership has you just take action, have that conversation. How many people have taken action this month? Whether you started with us, whether you've just been on a couple of these, who's taken action? Go in the chat and say me, right? And so let people know. If you've made money, go in the chat and put the money. If you've healed a relationship or you've had a good conversation, you've gotten light at the end of the tunnel, write that in there, right? But my husband and I are getting along better. I lost weight. I lost 10 pounds. What happened this month? Because we held a container of being connected to what you're up to. Do you see what I'm saying? Got it? So go in the chat and just let us know. I made $15,000. Letting go of my marriage that's been really painful. Finished my curriculum that I was looking for. Healing my health. Also having a great conversation with my husband. I healed my relationship and I made some money. I joined HCL Vision and Breakthrough. Awesome. I lost 3.5 pounds. You see what I'm saying? Like, is it true that we have to stay stuck, or is it that we just needed some help on putting some structure together? So I'll end on this. The how is really intimate. You can't figure out the how by going, I don't know how to do that. I need somebody like this. This is like where everybody wants the man or the woman on the white horse to come in. You want the mentor. You want somebody to just come and just like give you the answer. The truth is they can do that. Most problems can be solved in 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. Most problems, even the most complex, maybe a couple days, like questioning, how to solve something, but most problems are not as deep as you think. Okay. And so the problem is that the people won't execute on them. That's why I say everything's leadership, right? That is the challenge. That's the gap that people are fearful of. It's not that they're not getting good advice. Am I right or am I right? It's not that people are not getting good advice. They're afraid that it's just not going to happen for me because it hasn't happened in the past. So if you think of the how as intimacy, once you've got your 5 targets up, this is what you focus on in the year. So you could do this right now, take yourself into halfway through next year, right? And so now you could just say, when you get intimate with whatever one you choose to work on, and you'll probably pick 2 to 3 of them in the next 6 months. That like this is up, like I have this up. I know how did I know to focus on hardcore leadership right now? Because of this. That's it. It's because of this. I could sell leadership all year long. I could sell leadership till the day I die because everybody needs it. It's the biggest thing that will change somebody's life. Everybody needs it. You know what I'm saying, guys? So it doesn't really matter what time of year I sell it at. It really doesn't matter because I just look into the world and the economy and I look into households, or I look into teens that are, cutting themselves now and creating, suicide, or they're like just confused out of their mind. And I can create a positioning for leadership anytime. And I'm going to tell you, anything that you sell or anything that's important to you, or any one of these, if you pay attention empathetically, the how will start to show up, but you've got to be generous to think about other people, because the how is your taking action moment, and the how, you don't take action on anything personal without it impacting somebody else. So the only way that these big audacious goals happen is with people. Sometimes the people are your husbands and wives, sometimes they're your friends, sometimes they're volunteers, sometimes they're coaches. And like, I manage my coaches. I'm looking at my coaches and I'm like, what's important to this person? This person wants me to get to the point. If I'm going to get advice from this person, I need to be empathetic. I need to get to the point. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you are constantly managing a relationship, constantly. But if I'm like, well, it took everything for me to have the courage to ask for help, who's that all about? You. Congratulations that you did that. But like, honestly, the only reason why you feel fear is because it's about you. Until it's not about you and you're about, this becomes a non-negotiable. Yes, you win, but you have to forget about you winning. Because if you don't forget about you winning, right? So if your goals are like, okay, I'm going to buy a house, in the coast of California. And yes, it's really expensive. So the how is, I need to come up with, it's going to be a $500,000 house. I got to come up with $25,000 down. Okay, so now how am I going to do that? Well, there's 50 ways to find the money. If you can find the money for hardcore leadership, find the money for the down payment of the house. 100%. It works the same way on anything you want. That's why I take people through these exercises, right? So there's 50 ways to find, you guys, can you guys see how this works? But we stop ourselves because how do we get that? I don't have $25,000. Yeah, you do. You have 50 ways to find the money. On any topic, you can do it on any topic. If you're willing to say, even though I don't know anybody, if you're willing to like get past that, because that's all about you. I don't know anybody. I don't have, if you can't get there from there. So you got to go, okay, so if I got the house, right, what is the gain of the house? So now you're starting to build a runway. Well, the gain of the house is that if you bought a house in the next year, chances are you're going to ride a next wave up. I mean, in some places, the softening of the housing market has actually come down up to 17% in the last, while we've been doing this challenge, my friends. True story. Well, we've been doing this challenge. There's been corrections already. That's why if you wanted to get money out of your house, you wanted to sell it, you better move today. Like, you better make a decision fast. Because having a lot of money in your house is irrelevant if it all goes away. It's not relevant if you pull it out before it goes away. Either sell it, get a line of equity, whatever. But the interest rates are too high. Oh, stop. I paid somebody 30% to lend me the money. Who cares if you give the bank? Because what you could do with that money is a lot. When the market dumps or does whatever it does, right? When it's got to correct somewhere. So whatever it does, there's going to be a deal somewhere. See what I'm saying? Somebody's not going to be able to pay a mortgage. A lot of people are not going to be able to pay a mortgage. And now you got this cash, because successless preparation, instead of being hooked onto, I don't want to pay the high interest rate, you're like, I got the cash. And I'm just going to take that cash and I'm going to put it over here when the right deal comes in. But you're going to put one of these 5 KPIs. See, if you don't live like this, you're fucked. Because what are you doing? The day gets busy. And the day becomes a year, and the year becomes 2 years, and you don't make strategic moves, and you wonder, there's nothing wrong with you. You just are not intentional. I trust whatever it is that you want. You do not need to be smart to become wealthy or to become free. You need to get intimate. And you need to stop saying the how is impossible. That's why I enrolled your asses so hard into leadership, because you can go keep asking people how, and they will keep telling you how, and you will keep not doing it. And you know I'm right on this, correct? And but I do trust your strategy because I've never seen anybody blow up their life that does this. I've seen people blow up their life that don't do this. So you can get risky and go, okay, I'm gonna pull money out of my house, but then you're like, I got no target. So then Tommy comes by and says, oh my God, instead of throwing it in that, why don't you go throw it in Bitcoin? And then Bitcoin dumps and you're like, I just lost it all. Yeah, because you didn't have a target. And so when Tommy came along, you just did what Tommy said because you were chasing something that had no foundation. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be investing in Bitcoin with my money if I didn't have it leveraged in other places and growing. Now, I think it's crazy to not invest in Bitcoin, and I'm not worried about the market dumping right now. Do you know what I'm not worried about that at all. We started playing a leverage game. When the market dumps, we make money. When the market goes up, we make money. We set ourselves up for that. Why? Because I don't have FU money. You know what I'm saying? I don't have FU money that I want to play that game, and I don't understand the crypto to the level that I need to understand it. So now if I had FU money, which is money I don't care if I lose, which, you know, I dumped $400,000 into FU money over the last year, And by the way, I lost 300 of it. And that's my experience, is that when you don't know what you're doing, but then you win some. There was one I won, and it's made up for the 300,000 by far, right? By far. And that's kind of the game that you play with FU money. Like, I'm willing to lose this, so I'm just going to go into something that I don't understand. And I'm not worried about what I lost, because the one that I hit, it was Oatly. You guys know Oatly oat milk. So we got in on that deal before it went public, right? And through a relationship, and it went public, and it's running big time. And their biggest problem is we're running out of oats. They can't make the oat milk fast enough. Right? And so all y'all got to drink Oatly. Don't drink anything else but Oatly milk. There's lots of oat milk out there, but keep drinking Oatly milk. Okay. We deal. Okay. So that was my one runner that worked, but you get what I'm saying. So I don't want to keep harping on this, but I sit down and I go, okay, how can I hit the year-long HCL goal? Well, I could get more generous and I could dump the price by 60%, or I can do a challenge and help people create this result and keep making the offer. Now, let me share something with you. Are you guys appreciate this real coaching? Right? Because so when we first made the offer, we had 56 of you jump in. How many times do you think I made the offer after that? Okay, so here's why this is relevant. I went and asked Bob if I could borrow $5,000 and give him 20% on his money, and I'll pay him back in a year. And Bob said no. Okay, so that's like, I made the offer and 56 people jumped in. Okay, there's well over 300 of you who have jumped in at this point. Okay, and God bless you. I am much more afraid of the people who didn't, and that is not a scare tactic. I'm just saying, trust yourself, good job. Everybody else who didn't jump in, the price is raised. You can still do it. I would pay $20,000 for that training all day long. All day long. If my life was blowing up in a handbasket, I would go into that training 100% without a doubt. I did it twice because I was like I would go into that. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't want, like, it's not like it's not there for you guys, but you guys who jumped in, awesome. So now when you look at this whole piece and you're kind of building this out, that how factor is all about going, how do I get more generous to move the mark? So how do I get more generous with my husband to be able to heal the relationship or have a 10 relationship? It's not, how does my husband change, right? It's not, I made an offer for HCL and I leave it there. It's, how relentless are you to turning yourself inside out and not giving up the goal? Do you guys hear what I'm saying? And not giving up the goal. The minute you abandon ship on here, you are a risk to yourself and a risk to society. And you know that I'm telling the truth. And so how do you fix it? Pick things you truly are committed to that are going to make you feel safer, are going to make you feel more competent, and pick those and make them right. Just make the decision today and make them right. Stop arguing or stalling or overthinking. Stop all that. And then the how, you just need to get intimate. You just need to sit there and go, how do I enroll more people in hardcore leadership? How do I build a sales team? How do I have never advocated shutting down your career or your business to be a mom or a dad, unless your vision is to be a stay-at-home mom or dad. I 100% get behind that. But if it's to be a stay-at-home mom and dad because you're afraid of missing time with your kids, you got a strategy problem. Right? Do you guys see what I'm saying? So because you're operating off fear, fear is the devil, it is not of the Lord. So you know what? You're just going to find yourself busy. And even though you were at home, you still missed it because you weren't led by God. So fear is not an indicator. Use fear for urgency, but you should never run a strategy from fear. You got to run it through vision. That's how you know you're operating with the light. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So I'll use fear to run away from something because I'm running away from that enemy. But I am not going to run to something because of fear. So if I'm going to use the stay-at-home mom or dad as an example, okay, because you guys can all relate to this. If I am afraid, say one of my things is like, I want to be a phenomenal mom and I don't want to miss time with him. That's fear. Okay, well, what are you building? I get what you don't want, but what are you building? I'm building like 3 vacations with my son, 2 weeks each. I'm going to add up those hours. I'm going to say, if I because let's be honest, if you work a 9-to-5 job, you probably don't spend an hour a day with a child focused. You probably don't. And so unless you built it and you said, I'm going to spend 5 hours a week, every week, dedicated to my kid. So now I can build that. Does that mean I have to give up my career? No. I only give up my career unless it's a vision to not work and it's a vision to build the house. So my vision would not even be a stay-at-home mom or dad, because that's too normal. And don't get insulted by that. Hear what I'm saying. It would be, I'm going to build a house that is super nurturing, that has classical or gospel music playing every day. That's a no fight zone. I'm gonna gain the skills to run an atmosphere. Remember I talked about atmosphere that thrives connection and love. Okay, so how would I do that? That's where I get intimate and start to design it. Notice that's not, I got to quit my job because I can't do that. Everybody can do that and still work a job. There's a strategy. There's a how. So I don't cook and clean. I do not cook and clean. People laugh at me about that. Do you know it is 100% a strategy? I do not wash my car. Every now and then I do, but most of the time I do not wash my car. Leah's not doing this yet, but every house manager before Leah has gassed my car up. I don't put gas in my car. Not because I am a stuck up, you know what. It's because, let me tell you, when I'm going to karate and my car is empty, what happens in that moment? I become the B word, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna be late for karate. Hurry up, let's go. That's not a KPI of mine. I don't want to operate like that as a mom. So the strategy has to be different. My car must be filled up. So now what? I better figure out cash injections. You see what I'm saying? One of your 5 might be, I want to learn how to multiply money. I want to take money and I want to make 40% on my money, or I want to make 50% on my money. If you're an entrepreneur, honestly, you should be doubling your money at least every year, if not more. If we don't double our money, then that doesn't happen. We double our money. And it's not always double the revenue. I might double the profits. And so now the way I lead is different. Other people might have like, Shanda, you've got to hire all these people. It's like, no, I don't. I need to do that. Because why? Because I'm running a vision and I have a reason for the vision. Do you see what I'm saying? And the breakdown is in communication always, still with me as well, is articulating, oh, I didn't articulate why I had that vision. It wasn't just to have that money in the pot. It was to do X, Y, Z with that. Okay, now go in the chat right now and tell me what you're hearing me say. Go in the chat. What's kind of opened up, and then we're going to end this training today. I'll move to VIP. Okay, go in the chat. What are you hearing me say? Don't let fear stop you. Create a vision that has a strong why. Yes, but the why, be careful with that. It's like, you trust me, you're going to pick your five that make you feel competent. You just have to stop making them wrong. Stop overthinking them. Being successful is not a popularity contest. Everybody's going to tell you why you need to pick a different five. And you have to be strong enough to pick that five. Be open enough to listen, but if it doesn't build your competency, then don't do it. Because the stronger you get as a human being, the better leader you will be. So I am a really big fan on not picking these for you. Really big fan of not picking these for you. Got it? Have your vision yourself. Deliver. Awesome. Okay, so here's the thing. Who's an entrepreneur? Go put an E in the chat. Who's an entrepreneur? Go put an E in the chat. Okay. Okay, so there's lots of you. Okay, close that down for a second. Stop putting any E's in the chat. So here's what I'm going to do. If you are an entrepreneur, this opportunity is for you. My coaching department is open to help you run a strategy. I know you still want the how. They know the how, right? If you're an entrepreneur, they're going to be talking to you about your list. They're going to talk to you about your sales, right? Got no list, got no sales, and don't know how to cash inject? We got a problem. My request is that you stop saying I'm not ready. Yeah? You stop saying I'm not ready, because that's not of God. Okay? You are ready. If you want to grow faster, which you are on a runway, my friend, there's like another pandemic happening right now that's starting to get pushed through the world. There's like a massive foreclosure market coming in right now. There's raising gas prices. There's animals dying by the thousands. You know what I mean? On farms right now. Did you guys know that? Like, I don't know how thousands of people or animals die like that. That's like a gas chamber to me, right? There's some shit happening. Can we just agree with that? There's some stuff happening out there. And so you don't need to know what's happening truly. At least that's my stand, because I don't know if I believe the analyzers or the conspiracist. I'm just completely like, does it really matter who's right? Does it really matter? I don't think it matters. I think what matters is the fact that we are living in this world that food is very expensive. Coffee is ridiculous, at least in San Diego. If you go get a coffee and a muffin, you're like $30. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Like, you just stop, you go, holy shit. And by the way, I didn't notice that till somebody did a video on it that went to Lofty Coffee, got a muffin, and she's like, she showed her bill, and I was like, yeah, that's too much money for that. But money, I don't look at that stuff. But it's a good data point to realize that you don't want to not have enough. Okay, you don't want to not have enough. So we're going to drop a Coach's Corner link. And they're so don't jump in the chats right now, so the Coach's Corner link doesn't disappear. Go click that. They just put it on the screen, hcbcoach.com. This is only for people who want to build a business. Okay, so if you are not an entrepreneur and you're an employee and you would like to know, how do I really build my list? How do I create cash? Then you go ahead and jump on there. Don't say I'm not ready. So if you're an employee and you're like, you know what, I can feel it. I know that I need to make a move right now. Go to hcbcoach.com, open it up, and they got you. They're empathetic. They're super awesome. Be like, I'm an employee. I need to do this. I know I need to do this. Can you give me some strategy? They will give you some strategy. If you are already an entrepreneur and you like, I need speed, like I want to talk through, here are the 5 things that I want to get done. And here's one that I really want. And if you don't have a list of 10,000 or more, you should be talking to them about this. How do I build this in the next 45, 30, 60 days? You guys who jumped into Hardcore Leadership, I'm going to teach you this. So congratulations. You know what I mean? I'm going to teach you this. But if you're sitting there as an entrepreneur and you want, even if you jumped into hardcore leadership, you want more strategy, go grab that. Now, the chances of me being able to drop this again this week is probably thin because our coaching department has a lot of clients to work with right now. Okay, so go to hcbcoach.com, open it up right now, pick your spot. I know people always start to message me saying, there's no spots. I get it, but I cannot manufacture more people. You know what I mean? Like I can't make more coaches. So it just is what it is. Like money loves speed. So just move fast. Got it? Okay, so here's the homework for tonight because I'm a big fan on taking action on something like this. I recommend you pick your five. It'd be great for you to take pictures, put it online, tag me on social media, whatever. But if you're in the Facebook group, the Coach Yourself to Success Facebook group, go ahead, take your picture, show it. We learn from each other. Don't worry about people stealing your ideas, right? It's like somebody messaged me and said, somebody's stealing all my ideas, not from this group. Nobody in this group is stealing somebody else's ideas. But she was like, somebody's stealing. I'm like, do you know how many people steal my shit? Just move on. Congratulations. If you got a hater, you got more than one hater. I had a long time with no haters. Now I have haters. And so that's an indication you've helped enough people. Anybody be married before? Been married? You ever have a moment where like, how did I marry this person? I know that's a horrible thing to say. It's absolutely horrible. But you know, whenever you get more than you in a room, there's an opportunity for conflict, right? And so the more people you help, the more people who are going to get nasty and mean. It's unbelievable some things that I see on some of these incredible leaders in the world, and how, like, people will be like, look at this chick, she's got so much energy. I'm like, when did that become a bad thing? You know what I mean? Like, just mean, like, you know, oh my gosh, is her hair real? Yes, guys, it's 100% real. It's real. You know, like, people just say the meanest things online. Like, it's unbelievable. Somebody will say, she helped me make $50,000 in 2 months. And then they'll be like, she's the reason why my energy is being cut off because I'm committed to this program and she's making me stick to my contract. Yeah, I'm making you stick to your goals. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So learn how to just forget all that type of stuff that's happening in the world. And whoever says whatever they want to, because success is not a popularity contest. And it takes the willingness to not be liked to be a great leader. It just does. Just know who you are when you put your head down on a pillow and, you know, forgive yourself for anything that you make a mistake on. Just word of advice, because otherwise you'll hold back when these people come out of the word works and they attack, and they will attack as you grow. Okay, so I want you to do your five, take pictures, put it in the group so people can get inspired. And then I recommend, if you're bold enough, especially if you haven't done this yet, do a 2-minute or less video. What's the number? 2, not 3, not 4, not 5 minutes. It is very, very hard to listen to you for 5 minutes. Okay, so if you want to be empathetic and be a great leader, less is more. 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever, right? Do a 1.5, 2-minute video about why you chose these 5 KPIs, which means that you need to just have less words. So I chose a sales team because I know that that's going to hold me accountable to making more money. I chose, building a house, building an environment in our house that was like all the kids wanted to come to, because like, this is my vision, right? And so, just share that. And if you want to share anything like, and here's the problem I'm going to have to solve now with one of these, don't do all of them because it'll be longer than 2 minutes. I want to build an email list, a text message list. And so, maybe you jumped into HCL. You're like, that's one of my things. I'm going to do that. I'm going to set a target that I'm going to build 4,000 people, by the end of the summer on my list. That's phenomenal. Totally doable. Let's go. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you have to, and the problem I'm going to run into is I might fail at the first one. So I'm willing to do 3 of them in the next like 3 or 4 months, no matter what. I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean? And here's why. So you could share what might get in the way, but solve it when you say it. Do you know what I mean? Like, hear yourself lead it, because you don't want to be leading people into stuckness, because what do? You kill your legacy. You kill your reputation. Nobody wants to be your kid or your employee or your contractor or your customer or client if you can't solve your own problems. I'm going to repeat that. Nobody wants to be your kid. They do not want to be your employee. They do not want to be a contractor that works with you. They do not want to be your spouse. They do not want to be your customer or client if you can't solve your own problems. Got it? So practice noticing what's going to break down in one of these and say, and here's what I'm going to do. Just practice it. Lead with power. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Facebook group blow up. We'll see you here tomorrow. VIP, I'm going to jump on with you, but we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Michael Strausner, do you guys remember Michael Strausner? He's going to jump on and he's going to drive our leadership stronger between here and the end of the week. Okay, so he's going to come and just really light us up. And by the way, you guys might already know this. I picked him to do this tomorrow. Great leader, by the way. He's leading our third level. He's got 2 practice trainings going right now, and he's going to step out. He solved the problem. He's going to deliver to you, and he's going to go back into the training. Do you see what I'm saying? There's always a how, no matter what you're committed to. Do you know how to solve that problem? He's leading 2 trainings, physically leading 2 trainings of ours, 2 groups that are in the third level right now. And he's going to step out, he's going to give to you, and then he's going to go back in, and they are not going to miss a beat. That's leadership, my friends. All right. See you soon. See you in the Facebook group. See you tomorrow morning. Don't miss Michael. He's phenomenal. All right, you guys. VIP, I'm going to switch to you. Bye.